lot of people don't even count KD's 2 rings. So
Yeah.
just because of where he went. So do you see that one ring that he gets with Phoenix, even though he's with Devin Booker in his prime, Bradley Beal at the tail end of his prime, or might be out of it, but I still think he's a really good basketball player. Do you think people would still give him that like respect? Okay, or KD, like you are one of the greats. Obviously, you're not like LeBron, Michael, or Kobe, but like you're one of the greats. You're finishing as a legend in this game. Regardless, he's doing that. But I'm just saying, like up in that upper echelon. Like, do you think that one ring though? Because Kobe won 2 without Shaq. I'm trying to
Hmm.
say Kobe won 2 without Shaq. I mean, Steph did win one, but I guess it's more impressive because a point guard typically is not the driving force of a
Yeah.
championship team. So I guess that's why you kind of got a little bit of respect for that. Like you see that one ring being enough.
It's not enough, but it's a good start, and it does add. Like I think it does even pull up the other two. Like it adds a little weight to the other two, just because it will, establish him as a championship guy. I mean, Booker doesn't have any. Like he'd be associated with Booker's first ring. He'd be
True.
associated with Beal's first ring. So I think that's what it would do for him, and it would be like, maybe those two weren't just because Curry. It has to do more with who KD is. So I think it adds a little bit of weight to the other two that he has as well.
True. So, um, you personally, like you personally, how do you like how did you look at KD's decision to go to Golden State? How did you look at those championships? Like, are you just like, okay, he played the games. They went through the playoffs. They won the championship. Like that's what should
Yeah,
matter. Or
I don't really like. I mean, like at the end of the day, like winning a championship is winning a championship. I don't think I'm a big detractor of who you're playing with.
Mhm.
Because he went out and he showed out. You know what I mean? Obviously, it was more than what they needed. And it was a little bit unfair and a little, snake on his end, or just makes him look a certain way. But I mean, I never really looked at it as like a big detractor for him. I always just look at the player, not necessarily. I'm the one of those guys that look at more than who the player is rather than how many rings they have or how they
same.
came about their rings. So I don't really, say, oh, Jordan has more than Kobe, so obviously Jordan is, a better version, better than Kobe, and Kobe's just a carbon copy of him. But I would never say just because two players have different amount of rings, one is better than the other, or I don't base who they are based on the rings. Like Carmelo is a great player, no rings. AI, top 5 player for me, no rings. Right, so doesn't hold much for me. And even how he went about getting them, hey, obviously the sake of him, but like it doesn't take away from who of a player he is. So yeah,
True.
it's more
Yeah.
away from the person that he is, but not the player. That's what it
Right.
does.
I think the problem is that I think a lot of people don't like think too deep when it comes to like matchups and stuff like that. I don't think they realize that LeBron's Cavaliers were better than the Warriors. They
Yeah.
were better. They were better. So I don't think there's anything wrong. Me, bro, I don't care. I'm not gonna sit here and say KD's rings don't matter or they don't count or whatever. They definitely do count. Obviously context matters when maybe talking about different scenarios and talking about who's the better player. But the Warriors were not a better team than the Cavs. Like the Warriors need to
Yeah.
do something in order to be better than the Cavs in order to win. And what they did was they got KD. And KD proved, at least in those 2 series in 2016, 20 no, sorry, 2017, 2018, was that he was the best player on the floor. And it was proven with the 2 rings and the 2 finals MVP. I think people just look at it like, oh, you went to the Warriors, a 73-9 team, and da da da. I'm like, well, the 73-9 team doesn't matter because they didn't win the chip that year. They
Yeah.
didn't win, right?
Yeah.
And in 2016, KD and Russell Westbrook were up 3-1 against that same Golden State team, right? So I don't think it's fair, but I get the outrage. I totally understand. I can empathize with people that are like, oh my god, da, da, da. Like Jordan didn't have to go play with Hakeem, or he didn't have to play with this guy, or he didn't play with Karl Malone and all these guys. Da, da, da. Like he just stayed with his team and won.
Mhm.
Kobe, he didn't leave the Lakers. He stayed, blah blah. Even though Kobe wanted out, but you know Kobe stayed with his team and he won, and he even won with Shaq left. Like, I think that's what it is. I think more times than not, you're up against history, and
Yeah.
because you're up against history, like you won't get the benefit because if Michael didn't win 6 rings in 6 tries, LeBron might be the best player ever.
Yeah.
So it's like it's hard, and you're right. Using rings is a bad metric because Robert Ory has 7 rings.
Yeah.
Nobody's calling him to go.